All right, you guys still with me out there? I know this isn't super exciting stuff, but a firm, logical understanding of blending modes can really help you creatively because you know what you're looking for now. Let's get into what are called the light blending modes. Let me make that a little bit bigger down here so we can see everything. The light blending modes actually do double duty. Photoshop light modes darken the darkest colors, and at the same time, they will lighten the lightest colors, allowing the mid-tone areas to kind of mix together, and foreground and backgrounds remain almost independently identifiable. We'll start with the one called Overlay. There's actually 7 of these, so let's plow through these. Overlay multiplies or screens colors, and it depends on the base color. Patterns or colors overlay existing pixels, while at the same time, they preserve the highlights and the shadows of the base color. The base color is never replaced, all right? But it's mixed with the blend color, and it reflects the lightness or the darkness of the original color. So we've got left cover selected. Let's go into here and go to Overlay. We'll do that on all 3 of these. We can see how Overlay works with different types of covers. As you can see, what's happening is it's correspondingly lightening and or darkening areas of the image. There is not a lot of change on the one where they're exactly the same. Just a little bit of overlay, which means it's going to darken it just a little bit, but not very much at all, almost unnoticeable. We're maintaining our hue, our color here, and we're actually lightening areas up around this one. At the same time, we're darkening areas from the same one. That's overlay. Let's look at the next one. The next one is soft light. Soft light darkens or lightens colors again, depending on the blend color. The effect is, think about shining a diffuse spotlight on an image. That's probably a good way to look at this. If the blend color, that'd be the light source, is lighter than 50% gray, the image is actually lightened up as if it were dodged out using the dodge tool. If the blend color is darker than 50% gray, then the image is darkened as if you were using the burn tool. Painting with pure black or white produces very, very dark or lighter areas, but doesn't result in a pure black or whites. All right, so let's go in and select our first left cover. And this time we're going to go into soft light, diffused light being shined on it. Center with our single color, and we'll go into soft light. So it softens it very subtly. And of course, our duplicate one right here. Let's go into soft light. All 3 of them are softening the image out based on the base layer, but it's creating it like it's a diffuse light. The next one is hard light. Hard light will multiply or screen colors, again, it's doing both, depending on the blend color. The effect is, in this case, like shining a harsh spotlight on the image. So we're going to get more contrast. Again, 50% or lighter grays lighten the image, 50% or darker darken the image. So let's go ahead and do left cover. And this time we're doing a hard light. So it creates a little bit of a harsher image. Let's go to our second one, center, and go hard light. And let's go to our third one and go hard light. In all 3 cases, it's like shining a harsher light source on the image. In the case of the one in the middle where we're using a solid color, it would be like shining a harsh light with a gel, a cyan gel. Hard light. The next one is called vivid light. Let's go up here. Vivid light is kind of like a burn and dodge tool, and it burns or dodges the colors by actually increasing or decreasing contrast depending on, again, the blend color, and that would be the base. If the blend color is lighter than 50% gray, it lightens by decreasing contrast, and if the blend is greater than 50% gray, it darkens by increasing the contrast. So this is a contrast tool. Start with left cover. Go in here and go into vivid light. Again, we're talking contrast. Look at the contrast. Center cover, vivid light. And finally, right cover, vivid light again. In all 3 cases, we're increasing or decreasing contrast based on the brightness of the pixels from a shade of gray, 50% less or 50% more. The next one is called linear light. So let's go there. Linear light burns or dodges again the colors by decreasing or increasing the brightness. You see a pattern here between all these sets? Some do contrast, some do brightness. In this case, if the blend color, our base, is lighter than 50% gray, the image is lightened by increasing the brightness. Correspondingly, if it's darker than 50% gray, the image is darkened by decreasing the brightness. Let's get going here. Left cover. Let's go into normal and go into linear light. Let's do the same thing for the next two. Center cover, linear light, and right cover, linear light. It is not contrast we're dealing with. We are dealing with brightness of the pixels based on the initial grayscale value. Although pixels have color, they also have a brightness level, and that's what's controlling what's going on here. The next one is called pin light. In pin light, the replacement of the colors depends on the blend color again. If the blend color is lighter than 50% gray, pixels darker than the blend color are replaced, and pixels lighter than the blend color do not change. If the blend color is darker than 50% gray, this is really boring, isn't it? Pixels lighter than the blend color are replaced, and pixels darker than the blend color don't change. This is actually pretty useful for adding special effects to an image. Pin light. Let's start with our left cover, which is our gradient, and go into pin light. Let's go into our center, which is a single color, and do a pin light on that one. And let's finally go into our right cover, which is a copy, and do a pin light on that one. In the case of the copy, no change. In the case of our gradient and our base color, which is a solid color cyan in the middle, significant changes based on the brightness levels of the pixels. Pin light, special effect kind of thing. The last one we're going to look at is hard mix. Now I have to get to it this way because it's over there way on the right. And here's hard mix. Hard mix blend mode combines pixels in your layers using the vivid light blend mode and then performs what's called a color threshold operation on them. Hard mix mixes layers and pushes the colors to actually absolute extremes. All in all, hard mix pixels come in only 8 colors: black, white, red, green, blue, cyan, magenta, and yellow. And the end result is quite similar to what's called posterize. It's a command in Photoshop that you can use. Very similar. What we're going to do is left cover, go to normal, and go into hard mix. Notice the posterization of the image, if you will. Let's go into the center. Same thing. Hard mix. Again, a very posterized, loss of color look. And the last one for right cover is the exact copy. And we'll go into hard mix. And even on that one, you get a tremendously posterized, loss of color, hard, solid color look. That one's called hard mix.